Today we went for this meeting that was supposed to happen at CCP. All of you know, you have all seen the reports at the media. It was a very mysterious meeting. But anyway, I don't need to talk about it. So this was the meeting on the 12th of February, which did not happen. Now, we have sent letters to CCP councillors, the Panjim MLA, Minister of Ports, GSPCB, CM's office, and all the other departments. And why not? So this is the big thing. This 112-meter boat is coming to the Mandovi. They say it's only 5-story tall, but if you actually measure the height of it, it's actually crossing 10 stories. So this kind of mega casino is coming. Work has already begun to anchor it, and we need to stop it. Okay, quickly, because there's a bit of confusion about which boat has gone there and whether the new boat has come or not. Just pay attention to this. So this was the earlier position of the 6 casinos in the Mandovi. 1 on Rage Mago's side, which is the number 6, and 5 on the Panjim side. Number 1 and 2 are just ahead of the Panjim ferry. Now, what has happened is, number 5, which is this tiny dolphin-shaped boat, has moved out of the Mandovi. This is the Delton Royal, this is the Royal Flotel, but also a Delton boat, which has gone out. Then, the government moved number 6, which was the Delton Royal, from Rage Magos ahead of number 1. So from Rage Magos, that boat has come in front of the Delton Jack, and number 5 has gone out. So now we are left with 5 boats in the river. Okay? Step 3, work has begun at Rage Magos at full speed. Okay, dredging work has begun and soon they will be completing the work as well. We were told by Captain of Ports when we went to meet him that the new boat will come by end of March. The truth is, it will be here in 15 to 20 days. 15 to 20 days, that massive boat will be here in the Mandovi. It might be outside Goa, what is right now, we don't know. So the mega casino will arrive in the Mandovi in 15 to 20 days as soon as the dredging and mooring work is complete, and the capacity of this boat is 2,000 people or more. That's a small city in itself. So here's my bone of contention. The new mega casino will be located at Rage Magos, okay? So when people say this big boat is replacing the boat that was there, that is not true. It is physically replacing this Delton Royal, which is now at Pato. But actually, what has gone out of the Mandovi is the 70-passenger small boat. So actually the big boat, the 2,000-passenger boat, is replacing the 70-passenger boat. How can we allow this? What is 70 and what is 2,000? Already with this volume, the older volume, we were encountering such problems in the city. What do we do with 2,000 more people and employees and parking issues and sewage and garbage? How is this sustainable either for the river or the cities on the bank? That is why we have come here. So we are PONJHEKARs against casino, and we say no more casinos. Thank you.
तुमका सगळ्यांक मान्य आसा? आमकां नाका, आमकां नाका. आमकां नाका, आमकां नाका. आणि होच स्लोगन आमी पयले अमेंडमेंट जेन्ना येयल्ले गोवा गॅम्बलिंग प्रिव्हेन्शन ऍक्ट तेन्ना महिला संघटनांनी होच स्लोगन दिल्लो. तुम्ही ते फोटोग्राफ पयला आसतले, रॅली काढले, आणि तेन्नाच्यान ही अँटी कझिनो मुवमेंट चालू आसा. सरकार कझिनो हाडचो ना अशें म्हणलें जेन्ना पयली प्रोटेस्ट जालो, आणि पूण 3 वर्सां थंड रावले, मागीर परत कझिनो रिव्हरान येयले. आता कितले अमेंडमेंट्स जे केला सरकारान ते सगळे फॉर कझिनोज. आता ते हिस्ट्री सांगपाक हांव ॲडव्होकेट अल्बर्टिना आल्मेडाक उलो मारता. ताणें आमकां जे अमेंडमेंट्स केला कजिनो प्रमोट करपाक ताजी एक ब्रीफ हिस्ट्री दिवची, कारण आयज कितें करपाक जाय तें आमकां क्लियर जातलें.
So, the act is the Goa Public Gambling Act. Okay, so that is of 1976.
Can you just hold? One second. Too much of crowd outside. We need to at least remove 2 rows and let people stand behind. Yes, there's too much of crowd outside, and I think we should get them inside.
Okay. I think some people can come. The last 2 rows can be.
Requesting.
झाली सगळी आयडी मित्र. Yeah, Advocate Albina, please continue.
So as I mentioned, I सांगला कशे Goa Public Gambling Act was enacted in 1976. So you will say, so 1976 answer o कायदो आसा पळोवया. So तो Goa Public Gambling Act 1976 which was first issue. Now in 1992 any game of electronic amusement slot machines in 5-star hotels. Okay, then they had a notification in 95 which defined what is 5-star hotel, and the authority to whom the application for license to install and operate games has to be made. That authority is Under Secretary Home. So first of all, now you had one trade where you go to Under Secretary Home, and all the other people who have to run their businesses, who have to apply for licenses, have to go to various authorities, etc., get NOC from here, NOC from there, etc. Now these people were got given pride of place. They had a special person to go to, Under Secretary Home. So that was the notification under that, following the 1992 law. In 1996, they expanded it. So not only can you have casinos in 5-star hotels, now you can have casinos offshore also. So when we saw that all this was happening, the women's groups at that time said, we have to stop this. There was only one casino at that time. Sorry, actually there wasn't even that one casino. It was that boat was being built in somewhere in Sangkon or somewhere. So then that Caravella or something it was called at that time. So at that time when we objected, everyone objected. That was the time when the Pratap Singh Rani government was in power, and Pratap Singh Rani said, okay, since all of you are objecting, this was on the eve of Women's Day, because on the Women's Day we were going to flash that all over, everyone was going to come up. So they said, okay, I won't grant licenses for casinos. So many of us said, don't go by these empty words. But what happens is, when somebody gives an assurance, you think when someone is so categorically saying and that it's okay, and he did grant licenses. But the point is, if you do not get the law repealed, then you're leaving space for anybody
grant those licenses. And that is exactly what happened. So what did they say? We have amended the law to allow gambling in 5-star hotels and offshore, but respecting the opposition, we will not grant licenses. But the law is there. So then the law was amended in the Legislative Assembly, but the licenses were not granted. But the next government granted license for offshore and for a bar also on that vessel. And they were not even required to go to the tourist trade under the Tourist Trade Act to get those licenses. This was the situation at that time. So you see, whenever assurances, we have to take lessons from Chimbel, where just assurance is being made verbally or some announcements at some public meetings will not do. Even if that happens to here for us, we must remember we cannot take such assurances. It has to be in writing, because that's what happened. They didn't grant, but the next people granted, the next government and the next. So what they are basically saying is, that is why we have our immediate goal of stopping this casino, which is the new one coming, but we cannot let those other casinos also stay. It cannot be a battle. Wield so much power that they can get away with anything. They can get away with murder, because they have that kind of power. And casinos, we must be aware that casinos have got a mafiosi that goes with them. You cannot let a casino function without that mafiosi, because there is so much money involved. So the thing is that they have been, that is why, can you imagine, since 2014, they are adjourning this and granting extensions for renewing licenses on the pretext that they have not found an alternate site. From 2014, where are we now? In 2026, and they have extended it up to March 2027, and now you see that forget about extending those till March 2027, claiming that maybe the last extension or whatever. They have not only extended it up to March 27, now you see one other board. So it's another casino. So therefore, we see that we cannot letting one is like letting all of them try. So we have to first put a stop to this, that there is no justification. They themselves have talked of, at least they have talked of relocating it out of the Mandavi. So how is it that they are talking of a new one if they are not supposed to even extend? They have only extended their licenses because they have not found an alternate site. Why are they giving license for why are they contemplating a new one? As Crizel has rightly pointed out, you cannot compare one which has gone out of 70 passengers to some 2,000 passengers. You cannot compare the two, and it involves dredging. It involves so much more work. So if you are saying, if you are only even going by your logic, we are saying it should be out altogether. But even if you go by your logic that you have to get it out of the Mandavi, then what are you doing trying to do dredging for another casino then, or for another boat and another casino? So clearly that has to be our call, and that is what. Now I just want to put this out there, that once I remember this, Patricia and some of us had gone regarding some issue regarding IFI and destruction is causing to the environment, and at that time Mr. Parikar was the chief minister, and after it was over, I stayed on just to tell him that there is this principle of res extra commercial. That means any business which is supposed to be harmful to humanity cannot claim as of right to continue the business. Okay? So this principle has been already established in the courts. So because Parikar said to me, oh, you know what happened, the licenses are already given, so what can we do now? That is why I gave that judgment, and because he wasn't giving appointments. So this was like we had gotten because of something else, and this judgment was given but never considered. But I'm bringing this up because constantly they say, oh, now we've given the licenses, now what can we do? First of all, they are supposed to stop. Second, they are not obligated, because this is a harmful business activity. Second is that Even otherwise, they are talking of not renewing licenses. They have taken policy decisions. Then if they have taken, why are they still continuing? This cannot be justified, and the principle of res extra commercial should apply. They have come out with, because we were talking about how it affects Goans, they have come up with one thing that Goans cannot enter the casinos. Now what does this mean? Who is a Goan? Let me tell you as a lawyer, who is a Goan is a long fight that goes on everywhere, whether it's in family law, whether it's in any law. There is this thing of who is a Goan is a law.
Thank you, Albertina. I know it is such a vast topic, the legal aspect, but just to give an idea, we have told the speakers to just crunch the points in limited time. Now, once the women's movement started, we realized that the government was not listening to our demands, and we needed to broad base the movement so that this issue is not about just women and children. It's not just a women's issue. Some of us told us this is a moral issue you are taking about. People should have a right to decide how they want to live. But this is not a moral issue. This is not just a moral issue. It is also affecting men, women, children, families, everybody. And so many more people joined in, and we formed a network of organizations, all the organizations that were objecting then, women's organizations, civil society organization. A broad network was called Aadmi Aurat Against Gambling. That time AAP had not started. So it is, that was what they said, that we should include men, we should include women, everybody, and take up this issue. Now, what the name was AAP, and many stalwarts were there. Today Anand Madgaonkar was there. He was very much in, he was the co-convener of AAP. I am the convener. And we have Rui Ferreira, who's also the co-convener. May I call Rui to speak? So I request Rui to give a gist of what AAP did. Advocate Rui, sorry.
I am as a Panjim citizen, whether you call it Panjim, Ponjhe, is immaterial. What is very material is to keep the river Mandovi, which I most admire, free from all illnesses and sicknesses it gives. It's immaterial of what we languages speak, whether we are called Viva Portugal. Desai was my colleague in the bank. I challenge him to weed out the Portuguese citizens actually, and who've actually there. Now, this is one lady, Iron Lady. I'm here because Sabina asked me to speak. She's one Iron Lady, true lady. I would call her the Iron Lady of Panjim because she has taken up many issues concerning women. And she met me in the year on 1st January 2009. I woke up with the news that my close friend had died of an accident. That's 17 years ago, exactly. We are 17 February, seems 17 to be a good date. So I was shocked, and when I was informed, he was coming back from a land casino, the first land casino where the amendment was carried out in Dona Paula, and there was a BMW lottery to be unveiled on 31st December, and he was that evening with us for a function. Suddenly he disappeared. So I was wondering where he was. He was a bachelor boy, and he had set up the sound system for that. He was expert, my close friend, expert in sound system. And I was shocked to learn that he died and a milk van killed him. That particular day I was shocked, and I was searching for some relief to get from this. All my friends were in tourism trade, and they asked me, what the hell are you doing? Don't you know tourism is economy and this is a mafia? Don't play with the casinos. But I carried on with a handful of people. We had a morcha where Parika joined our morcha, and he carried a mashal nuisance that day, and then took over and never stopped. Drug trafficking is going on, And once I was asked to write an article in our church magazine, and I wrote an article, all the Ds, the 3 Ds, drugs, dice, and very much of all these gambling and drinks are the cause of the casinos, Panjim turning into a very dangerous city. So finally, I want to tell you, most important thing what happened. I'm happy that your press is here and you go on repeating that corporators. There is no corporators in Panjim, for God's sake. It is councillors and there is a commissioner. The act was amended in 2001. Commissioner is the most important. Council only meets, and everywhere section 214 of the Corporation of City Act got only councillor. They only can decide. They have no powers. The commissioner is the one who acts on behalf of the council. So they are councillors. We have Advocate Avinash Pusla was a councillor also. I'm glad he is here also along with us, and I told him be around. What is most stunning here, when we said Goans are going to get affected, there was a huge 6 crore counterfeit drafts given of a cooperative bank. See, this is the check return memo. I was shocked, and now she is promoted, I heard. Anyway, so this is the situation. Judiciary also dismissed my application, saying in a criminal case, intervention is possible only to aid. I want to do aid and assist because I have experience in banking also. Aid and assist the prosecution. Counterfeiting drafts, 2 crores. This gentleman bought drafts of 6 rupees from government market branch, and he has counterfeited in total 6 crores. 60 lakhs, 80 lakhs. See, this one is 60 lakhs. And they issued him tokens. This one is 60 lakhs. They issued him tokens to play. 60 lakhs, 80 lakhs, total 6 crores. A Panjim citizen lost in the casinos. And he was arrested and he is released on bail. And nothing will happen to this situation because I think he has sold all these assets and repaid the casinos. It's going on. But unfortunately, be alert, because somebody can tomorrow counterfeit and buy your house in Panjim. So be alert, be watchful. Whether this government, that government is immaterial. Crime is rising because of the casinos gambling. Crime is rising. So be alert, be watchful, and be aware of your rights and your fundamental rights to exist in the Panjim free of any pollution. Thank you.
Thank you, Louis. Many other issues were taken up, like money laundering. We had also written to the income tax. See, every citizen, if our transaction is above 50,000, we have to show a PAN card. But here people are playing. There is money transaction. It's above 50,000. It's in lakhs and it's also in crores. But at that time, Anand Madgaonkar had raised this issue and we were pursuing that. So there are several issues. What we are doing today is just making the public aware of what is happening because of the casinos. So this was an economic fraud, and the most damaging that we can see is the silent killer destroying families. Now we know that, there are lots of addiction. Suppose if it is an alcohol addiction, we can make out who is an alcohol addict. He will be swaying, or he'll be singing, shouting, whatever. If it is he or she is a drug addict, again, your drooping eyes, you have telltale signs of this person is an addict. But if he is a gambling addict, you don't see this unless, of course, he has other addictions, which very often happens. And this addiction causes a lot of distress in the family. And I am just going to give you a summary of the cases that we have handled subsequent to the casinos that came in. We meaning as Bailanzo Sad. So I'll just put down the points hastily. We were organizing, so I was not able to kind of do one visually, like normally teachers like to do good presentation, but I just thought I'll put the points down. The first complaint of casinos came to us because of children. Okay, and because of children this issue came up. how it impacted children is because when bouncers reached home of some businessmen from Marathon, they were cloth merchants and they were in debt, and because they did not pay, the bouncers came home, they threatened the wife, the men were not at home, they threatened the wife, the child, and so they were very upset that their family was affected, and that's why they approached Bailan Susad, and they wanted to have a press conference. And there was another gentleman also who had a problem in Panjim, and we said we are going to have a press conference, let us make people aware. And it was, they came from all three different religions, and see, we didn't want to take names, so we called them Amar Akbar Anthony, and we said we'll have this press conference, but last minute they said if we come out in public, we will be shamed. So that press conference didn't happen, but this issue of the bouncers, this is taking law and order in their hand, was taken up. Then another, this casino addiction really causes a lot of pain and heartbreak, those cases when they come to us. I was in Delhi, I got a call from my former student. He was just married, had a baby. 3 o'clock in the night she calls me and says, Miss, my husband has not come home, he was supposed to bring milk. My baby is crying, baby is parched, I'm putting water in the feeder bottle and feeding the baby. Please do something. And for us, it's also like when women they deliver, they have postpartum depression. So here you had your own state of postpartum depression, then you have the child, baby not getting milk, and it is such a, we felt so helpless. The only thing that we could offer was, counseling and for her to stay normal, to look after the child. Then there was, the other thing was, men, they go out, they gamble. I'm giving examples of men because women have come to us in these cases. In the earlier case, it was men who had come to us. And they come home late, they bang the door, they...
Can you just tell us the action? We are not interested in this topic. What is the action?
Yeah.
Come on the topic.
Yeah, so we are not telling history, we are telling you the impact of casinos on family. Not moralistic stuff.
How we are going to take out the casino? How we are going to give a fight for that?
How we want them out.
Yes.
Okay.
That is the BBB.
Yeah. Why we are telling you, I'll just give you the logic, is because many times when we go to the MLAs and we go represent, they said, no, it will affect trade and business. So we want to tell the government that it affects families, and that is why we were giving facts and figures. So it's fine.
Everything is
Let us speak, please.
Let us speak, please.
Okay, let's not get into an argument. I'll just... okay, fine. It's okay. Let's not get into an argument. I'll cut short. I just wanted to show the violence that happens as far as children, as far as women, how they are in debt, how women have power of attorneys have been taken from women, they have been made to sell their property. It's not a moral issue, it is crime related, and this is where the law and order is going for a toss. Okay? The sexual harassment. In fact, on the road, I was harassed. Somebody was stalking me just outside the casino. So I just wanted to tell what is happening to the city. Okay, so I'll stop here. And we also would like to give a gist of what is happening because of Mandovis to the rivers. I request Elsa to give, because it's social impact, economic impact. Advocate Rui has said social impact. I just summarized environmental impact. Elsa is going to give, and then we will have a discussion on the call for action.
Thank you, Sabina. Please ask everybody to
Pardon?
There's a quick fix right now. We don't
There's a...
silence of phone. Make it ringtones.
Yeah. We had announced earlier, but a lot of people have come. come in later. So please switch off your phones or put it on silent because it disturbs the presentation. So after the river pollution, then, we will discuss plan of action.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Elsa. Let me just say that I'm not going to give you answers, but I'm surely going to give you questions. One. Second, environmental sensitive planning cannot be firefighting. It has to be in advance. It has to be a foresee that we have, that we should have. We cannot wait for something to go wrong and then decide, oh, now it is indicating that the carrying capacity is reached. Now let's stop it or let's reverse it. Environmental sensitivity is a completely different aspect. And we all have it. We all have the understanding of it also. It's only merely that we need to be sensitive about it. So, first few slides are actually the background of the city. And I've called it Mandavi of Panjim because Mandavi is otherwise a colossal river. Yeah, can we go next? So when we say city, it actually is an agglomeration of multiple other administrative areas, and the city grows along with it, and therefore the impacts also are multiple. Next. The river, the Mandavi, is a huge asset of the city, or you can say it the other way around. Yeah. Now, if the river is an asset of the city and the city is an asset of the river, then they have to live together. One cannot live on the corpse of the other. We have to live together. And to live together, as I mentioned to you, environmental sensitive planning requires a little bit of advanced analysis. And there are so many frameworks which can give us that analysis. And I will not get into this. There are so many frameworks which can understand what are shocks and stresses of the city. Next. And we know what is environment, we know what is economy, and we also know what is social issues. And the city grows faster than any other village. The city is an asset of any country. The city is supposed to grow faster. And all the wealth of the country concentrates in the city. All the more reason why the environmental aspects cannot be ignored. So, the Mandavi Basin is 1580 square kilometers. It exits at Panaji. The mouth of that extent of basin exits at Panaji. And if you see, there is a very, very narrow point here. The whole basin exits at. So because of the push of that runoff, because of the push, that narrow exit has created an opening into the river, which has pushed. You can imagine it is like creating craters into the ground. What we can see as a landslide is exactly what happens under the water. It's almost like a landslide. Yeah, go next. So the city has 17 running kilometers of coastal line. 17. That's a huge, and waterfront cities are a gift of nature. Waterfront city, a 17-kilometer stretch of waterfront can be a gift to any city, especially a capital city. It can be the point of economy. It can be a point of symbiosis between the city and the river. A few background about the jurisdiction, because there is sometimes a confusion who owns that area of water. So So we have something called as the captain of ports, and there are gazettes which state that Mandavi is under that jurisdiction. Next, please. If you are aware about the coastal regulation zone, coastal regulation declared the water areas into two zones, 4A and 4B. The Mandavi, which is the dark blue, 4B, the dark blue, that's the states that on the sea and the tidal influence water body, the regulation will be for this: sewage, effluents, ballast water, ship washes, etc. etc. I do not know if any of PONJHEKAR knows whether there has been a comprehensive plan made out. But surely, for the CRZ 2011, there was a CZMP made out. That CZMP got approved in 2022. If the comprehensive plan, stress, I don't know if so many of you feel this. You want to look at the river with its peacefulness. Now, I was just conversing with a friend of mine. There would be children sitting on the bank of the river and singing songs. There would be economic loss. Panjim is listed as one of the fishing livelihood areas. Yeah? Next, please. Last one. These are the authorities with whom we have to seek some responsible actions. The COP, because it's under this jurisdiction, it's jurisdiction of port. The GCZMA, because the environmental management is under that jurisdiction. The Pollution Control Board, because to keep a check, a monitoring on the Mandavi as water, and with Water Act and whatever Environment Protection Act. The CCP, because that's the local administration, and the tourism, because that's the economy which is being bargained for. I leave you with those thoughts, and I only want to make one last submission, that if Mandavi is an asset of the city, the governance of that cannot be that we put that asset on rent. आम्ही आमचे कोयला rent दिवपाक जायना. That's the poor man's mentality. He denies it for his own house children, his house members, and he puts it on rent. City cannot be a poor man's mentality for governance. Thank you.
Thank you, Elsa, for that enlightening presentation. Elsa spoke about the impact on the city. There are villages also on the banks of the river, and Harish Madkekar was supposed to come and speak and talk how his village is getting affected, how his livelihood, fishing livelihood is getting affected. But there is an emergency right now, dredging is happening and they are busy over there. So he said, we will plan an action. They are all there with us. So his presentation, when we have the protest next, we will have it. We move next. Now, see, sharing of information is important. So we take an informed decision when we plan our action. So, is Swapnish here? Yes. Yeah. So, Swapnish has done activists, gives all the information and analyzes it.
नमस्कार तुमकां सगळ्यांक. हांगासर कोण एकटो मनीस किंवा ग्रुप ऑफ मनीस किंवा आनीक कोण जेंका दिसता कॅसिनो प्रॉब्लम न्हू म्हणून गोंयांत हात वयर काडचे. बरं, दुसऱ्या तरेन विचारया, कॅसिनो गोंयाक प्रॉब्लम म्हणून दिसता पळय तेंच्यांनी हात वयर काडचे. सो हांगासर आनी कशे प्रॉब्लम्स ते वेगळ्या वेगळ्या तरेन सांगपाची गरज आसा तुमकां खबर आहा न्हू.
तरी आसतना एल्सा मॅडमीन बरे तरेन सांगले ते एंगल आमच्या खुबशा लोकांक खबर नासता. असले तुमकां खबर?
इवन सबिनान सांगितले खबर नाशिल्ले सिरियस प्रॉब्लेम.
बरं, सबिना मॅडमीन सांगले ते आमकां खबर नासलेले. एक्सेप्टेड. सगळ्यांची नांव घेना आता. ही सद्याक अवेअरनेस मिटींग. आयज आमी हांगासर येवन आमकां खूब कितें कळ्ळें की कॅसिनो गोंयांत पावले कशे, सद्याक तेंचे कशें कितें चल्लां ते, आनी तेंचो फुडार कितें तो आतां ठरोवपाक लागून आमी हांगासर येयला. सो अवेअरनेस तुमकां मेळ्ळी आसा. फुडें कशें कितें वचपाचें तितूंतल्यान सगळ्यांक तुमचो हातभार लागतलो. पूण आमी पयलीं समजून घेवया की फुडें कशें कितें चल्लां आनी सद्याक तेंची कशी परिस्थिती आहा. सुरवातीक एक बोट म्हणून भितर येयली. तेज्या पयलीं जमनीचेर हॉटेलांनी 5 स्टार हॉटेलांनी बीन कॅसिनो चलताले. पूण सगळ्यांत पयली प्रश्न हे जुगाराचे अड्डे, कॅसिनोज म्हटले जुगाराचे अड्डे न्हू, जुगार खेळा, आनी ते बीन एज अ प्रोफेशन, वेवसाय कसो जुगार खेळा. आमी पयलीं अशे सणा परबेक बीन केन्ना जात्र्यांक बित्र्यांक आसताले आमचे, ना न्हू, पटार बिटार म्हणून आमच्या जात्रांक काल्यांक बीन आसतात ते. पूण त्या काले जात्रे वर्सभर चलना आनी थंयसरूच येवन पुलीस आडयताले. आयच्या दिसाक सुद्धा मोडको घेवप, फाटल्या दिसांनी आनी ते हावजी खेळटाले म्हणून तांकां धरून आयले खंय. तेन्ना म्हाका एक असो प्रश्न पडलो की हीच हावजी जर कॅसिनोन खेळ्ळी जाल्यार लिगल? हे आमचे जे मोडको घेतात ते कॅसिनोन बसून घेतले जाल्यार लिगल? तर म्हटले श्रीमंतांक तांकां जुगार खेळटले जाल्यार कायदो वेगळो. जुगाराचो सपोर्ट करना हांव हांगासर, पूण हांव कशी कायदे लॉ बदलता. पयसो आसा जाल्यार एक कायदो, पयसो ना जाल्यार वेगळो कायदो. आमची सद्याची परिस्थिती अशी पावलेली आहा की पयलीं म्हटल्यार ते 112 मिटराची आतां नवीन बोट येवपाची आहा. आमकां कोणाकूच कॉमन सेन्स ना म्हटल्यार तो कोंकणीन सिंपल भाशेन विचारपाचें जाल्यार अक्कल नाशें दिसता. आमी सगळेच गोंयकार अक्कल शुन्यशे दिसता, हांकां मूर्ख कशे. तुम्ही ती धाकटी बोट काडटा आनी येदी व्हडली बोट. कॅपॅसिटी एनहान्समेंट ह्या लॉबीची फक्त पणजे पुरती मर्यादीत ना, ते प्रत्येक गांवांत पावपाक लागला. आनी ह्या खऱ्यांनीच रिस्क आहा. आमी मोरजे गांवांत येतालो कॅसिनो, गोल्डन ग्लोब म्हणून, तांकां थंयसर कोर्टान येल्लेले आहा. बांबोळे येता, थंयसर बोवाळ चल्लेलो आहा. आतां हे गांवांनी वचपाक सोदता. गोंयांत आयच्या दिसाक हावजी लिगल ना, मोडको लिगल ना, पूण हे जे जुगाराचे अड्डे गांवांत येवपाक सोदता तेजो फायदो कोणाक जाता आनी कसो जाता हे विचारपाचो वेळ येयल्लो आहा. हांव बेस्ट तुमकां एक सजेशन दिता, कशें कितें करूं शकतले, एक्झिक्यूट करपाक मेळटले ते पळया. प्रत्येक म्युनिसिपालिटी, प्रत्येक पंचायतीन प्रत्येक म्हयन्याक एक रेझोल्युशन घेवपाचें आमकां गोंयांत कॅसिनोज नाका म्हणून. जावं न्ही बल्क रेझोल्युशन. ग्रामसभेक रेझोल्युशन घेवया, प्रत्येक ग्रामसभेक घेवया, कन्सिस्टंटली घेवया. कन्सिस्टन्सी इज द की. आमी फक्त एक आता तुम्ही सारखे एनर्जेटिक आहात, मिटिंग कॉल अप केला, लोकांनी बरें भाशण दिले, तुम्ही एनर्जाइज झाले, आयज गेले तर बंद करूया म्हटले, तेंच्यांनी बंदूय केले, फाल्यां सकाळी परत चालू केले, हे लोक परत दिसचे ना न्हू. थंय कन्सिस्टन्सी ना आमच्या मध्ये. कन्सिस्टन्सी जाय, पेशन्स जाय, रिझल्ट अचीव करतले म्हणून डिटर्मिनेशन जाय. जे आमच्या मध्ये कमी पडला किंवा फाटल्यान पडला ते परत फुडें हाडया. कन्सिस्टंटली आमी फायट दीत रावया. कित्याक आमी फर्स्ट अटेम्प्टान 10वी पास करूंक नासलेली किंवा आमी जे अचीव केला पळय ते फर्स्ट अटेम्प्टान करूंक ना. बेस्ट एक्झाम्पल, आमी जर आयज ड्रायव्हिंग जाणा जाल्यार आमी सायकल घेवन पडलेले आहात. पहिल्यांदा पडलेले म्हणून आयज आमी गाडी चलोवचे नासलेले तर थंयच रावलेले आल्या. कन्सिस्टंटली आमकां हेंच्या फाटल्यान लागचे पडटले आनी आमी लागतले ह्या आशा धरता. लागतले करया. देव बरें करूं.
स्वप्नेश. आता कॉल फॉर ऍक्शन आम्ही म्हणलं अवेअरनेस मीटिंग ऑन कझिनोज अँड वे फॉरवर्ड. खूपशे इन्फॉर्मेशन आसा, आमचे फायलीन आसा, पूण आमकां टायम मेळूना. Sapnesh was supposed to present some facts and figures. पण नेक्स्ट मीटिंग आम्ही एक स्टडी प्रेझेंटेशन करतली. सो सध्या आम्ही इमिजिएट नीड इज हाऊ डू वी स्टॉप द कझिनोज. वन, द बिग वन which is coming in. Two, what are already existing in the river, and of course the overall casino policy. So the short term म्हणजे इमिजिएट ऍक्शन आमकां करपाक जाय. आमकां दोन सजेशन दिला. एक म्हणटा की एक लिगल ऑप्शन की आमी कोर्टान या आनी ते ऑफशोर कझिनोचे ऑफशोर मिन्स 12 नॉटिकल मायल्स ताका चॅलेंज दिवया, ताका भायर घालया. आनी बाकीचे बी आसा. आनी दुसरें म्हणजे की social action on the street. People's power will stop the casinos. So these are the two options which are there before us. Just giving you briefly some brief information. एक कोर्ट केस अजून पासून चालू हा जी 2016 पासून असा. डॉक्टर ॲक्वाविवा तेणीन हायकोर्टान चॅलेंज केल्ले की वो ऑफशोर डेफिनेशन कितें ते. सो ती केस चालू आसा. आनी मागीर एक ऍप्लिकेशन, ते ऍप्लिकेशन खुबशे मिसलेनियस ऍप्लिकेशन हा. आनी दुसरे सुदीप तामणकर हाणें एक कोर्टान चॅलेंज दिल्ले जो रिप्लेसमेंट वेसल आहा, जो स्मॉल धाकटो आसलो तेका आमी 6 times मोर अशे रिप्लेसमेंट वेसल येता. ती केस हायकोर्टान आसा. सो तेजी एक कितें आमकां लिगल पाथ तर घेवपाक जाय जाल्यार आमकां ती केसीस खंयचे आहा ते मातशे एक अंडरस्टँडींग आसपाक जाय. सामके शॉर्ट हितून आमकां तामणकर बाब सांगता नाका मागीर. ओके फायन. सो ही दोन केसीस सद्याक चालू आसा. सो नाव लेट अस टॉक अबाउट वे फॉरवर्ड अँड ऍक्शन ऑन द स्ट्रीट. सो तुमकां आमचे कांय सजेशन्स आसा, पूण आमी ऑडियन्सा कडेन विचारता तुमची कितें सजेशन आहा, आमी कशें फुडें सरूया हे.
Almost 7 o'clock and we don't want to delay people. So this was more of an awareness campaign, and we need this awareness too because we are on the ground trying to take action. We are visiting every office, we are going everywhere, but if you don't know, some who know probably do not want